I never thought the beginning of the end of my marriage would arrive so quietly. My wife smiling at me from across the breakfast table, her fingers wrapped around a warm mug like nothing in the world was wrong. There was no tension in her face, no hesitation, just a strange, unsettling calm that felt completely out of place. My name is Daniel Brooks, and for most of my adult life, I believed I understood love. I believed marriage was built on silent commitment, on choosing each other even when things became boring, stressful, or hard. I believed loyalty was something you guarded carefully. What I never expected was that my wife, Megan, would shatter that belief in a single conversation over coffee. It was a Sunday morning. Our home, tucked into a quiet neighborhood in Madison, Wisconsin, felt unusually still. Early sunlight spilled through the kitchen windows, soft and warm, completely disconnected from what was about to unfold. I was scrolling through emails on my phone when Megan pulled out the chair across from me and sat down. She cradled her mug the same way she always did when she had something serious to discuss. I recognized the gesture immediately. Usually it meant bills, family issues, or future plans. But this time, there was something else in her eyes. Something unfamiliar. "I need to tell you something," she said softly. I put my phone down and gave her my full attention. "Okay," I said. "What's going on?" She took a slow, controlled breath, the kind someone takes when they've already accepted what they're about to say. "I slept with someone last night." For a moment, nothing happened. I didn't flinch. I didn't blink. The words didn't hit me like a punch. Instead, they landed like a heavy stone dropped into still water. Silent, dense, sending ripples through everything I thought was solid. She studied my face carefully, waiting for a reaction. Tears, anger, shock, anything. But my mind went strangely quiet. Maybe it was shock. Maybe it was survival. Whatever it was, it kept me steady. So I said the first thing that came to me. "Congratulations." Her eyebrows shot up. Confusion flashed across her face, followed by irritation. This wasn't the response she expected. She was braced for devastation, accusations, maybe even begging, a reaction dramatic enough to make what she'd done feel justified. "What do you mean, congratulations?" she snapped. I leaned back in my chair. Exactly what it sounds like. Congratulations on finally doing what you've probably been wanting to do for a long time. That landed harder than yelling ever could. She looked away, her jaw tightening, like the truth hurt more than my tone. "It wasn't planned," she said quickly. "It just happened. I didn't want to lie to you." But that wasn't honesty. That was convenience. Confessions come easily after the damage is already done, when guilt needs somewhere to go. I looked at her, really looked at her, and something inside me settled with painful clarity. This wasn't just about one night. It was about every quiet dinner, every time she turned away in bed, every forced smile when I asked if she was okay. "Who was it?" I asked. She hesitated. "Just someone I met while out with coworkers." It wasn't emotional. That was supposed to make it better. It didn't. She didn't explain further. The silence between us shifted, losing whatever warmth it had left. I could feel her waiting for me to break, for anger, tears, a fight. Something she could later point to and say, "This is why it didn't work." Instead, I stood up calmly and rinsed my coffee mug in the sink. "That's it?" she said, disbelief in her voice. "You're just walking away? What were you expecting?" I replied, "A breakdown? A speech? I'm not giving you the performance you rehearsed for." Her face flushed. "I didn't rehearse anything." "You rehearsed all of it," I said quietly, "including how you wanted this conversation to go." She went silent. As I dried my hands, something painful but freeing clicked into place. This wasn't love ending. It had ended long ago. I had just been too loyal, too hopeful, too blind to admit it. She didn't come to me with remorse. She came with a decision already made. "You're taking this really well," she muttered. "No," I said. "I'm taking it honestly." She looked confused, like she didn't understand what that meant. The truth was simple. You're only shattered by someone you still trust. And my trust had been eroding for years, quietly and visibly, like rust beneath fresh paint. I started toward the hallway, needing space to think. Her voice stopped me. Daniel, can we talk about what this means for us? I turned back and, for the first time, saw her confidence crack. We can, I said, but you probably won't like where it ends. She swallowed hard. I didn't tell you to hurt you. I told you because I thought we could be honest with each other. I almost laughed, not out of humor, but disbelief. Honesty would have been telling me you were unhappy before you looked for someone else. Honesty isn't confessing after the damage is done. Her shoulders stiffened. So what now? Are you leaving? I stepped closer, my voice calm. Leaving isn't the real question. What did you think would happen after this? She opened her mouth, then closed it. She didn't have an answer. People rarely do when they chase a feeling they mistake for freedom. I grabbed my wallet and keys from the counter. She watched me like I was disappearing forever. Maybe I was, but I wasn't leaving in pain. I was leaving with clarity. When someone shows you the truth, I said, you don't stay and repaint it just to feel better. Where are you going? She asked, her voice smaller now. For a walk, I said. I need air. She stepped toward me, shaky. Daniel, we can fix this. I turned the doorknob. Who's we? The version of you who slept with someone else, or the one who expects me to clean up the emotional wreckage afterward? Her eyes finally filled with tears, real emotion at last. But tears don't erase choices. Outside, the air was crisp and grounding. I wandered the streets of Madison with no direction, letting reality settle. This marriage had been limping for a long time. I had just refused to see it. I kept offering chances to someone who had already left months ago. For the first time in years, I felt peace. After nearly an hour, I returned, not to reconcile, but to close the door on my own terms. Megan was sitting on the couch, eyes red. She stood immediately. Please, she said, talk to me. I made a mistake, a terrible mistake. A mistake is spilling coffee, I replied. Sleeping with someone is a choice wrapped in excuses. She covered her face. I don't want to lose you. Those words should have softened something. Instead, they sharpened the truth. You didn't worry about losing me last night, I said. I wasn't thinking, she whispered. No, I said gently. You were thinking about yourself. She dropped her hands. You're being cold. I shook my head. I'm being clear. Silence filled the room again, heavy, stripped bare. Just two people standing in the remains of something they built, but protected very differently. I want to try counseling, she said suddenly. We can work through this. Counseling doesn't rebuild trust, I replied. Trust is rebuilt through choices. And yours already answered everything. Her lips trembled. So this is it? It's the truth, I said. You ended us the moment you chose someone else. She sank back onto the couch. I didn't think you'd give up so easily. I sat across from her. Steady? This isn't giving up. It's accepting reality. You wanted freedom, maybe not consciously, but you wanted something outside of us. So, congratulations, Megan. You got it. Her eyes snapped up. Now she understood. The word echoed differently this time. It wasn't sarcasm. It wasn't anger. It was final. You're really done, she said quietly. I'm done waiting for a version of you that loved me the way I loved you. I answered. The truth settled between us. No shouting, no drama, just a quiet weight of decision that couldn't be undone. I stood. I'll stay with my brother in Des Moines, Iowa, for a while. We'll deal with the legal details when we're calmer. She didn't stop me. She only nodded, tears falling silently. As I walked out with an overnight bag, I felt both grief and relief. I wasn't leaving because I lost. I was leaving because I finally recognized my worth. Sometimes the strongest thing a man can say isn't I forgive you or I'll fight for us. Sometimes the strongest thing he can say is congratulations and walk away.